Hi, I'm Josh. I'm a writer and the founder of Oak Tree Comics. And in this week's Writer's Room video, we're going to be talking about what goes into creating a wonderful beginning to your story. Specifically, we're going to be looking at 3 of my all-time favorite movies. And those movies, well, I'm going to let you guess which movies they are. What I'm going to do right now is I am going to begin those stories in the simplest possible way. I'm just going to say a sentence and you try to guess what movies they are. It's going to be fairly easy, and try to recognize the different elements, the pattern that goes into how you begin a story. So here's the first one. Once upon a time, there were 2 sisters who were princesses, and they lived in a magical frozen kingdom. But one day, here's the second one. Once upon a time, there was a lion cub who was destined to become king of a vast African savanna. But one day, and the third. Once upon a time, there was a sheriff who was in charge of the safety of all the other toys in Andy's room. But one day, cool. So all 3 of those examples you probably got right away, and you probably recognize the pattern. I began each one with once upon a time, and then there was a cool character who lived in this really cool setting, but one day something happens. And that's really what most stories do in the beginning. They establish a character within a setting, and that character has a problem that they're going to have to solve before the story can end. Now, let's jump from the basics, essentially storytelling 101, and go warp speed to graduate school. I think you're ready for graduate level writing. So I went to school to study screenwriting, and while there, I learned that most stories begin within a quote-unquote ordinary world. And I don't really love the phrasing ordinary world, because stories I love really take place within these magical, extraordinary settings. So when you think of Frozen, it's a magical kingdom. When you look at Lion King, there's an African savanna, and even Toy Story that takes place within a child's bedroom is extraordinary. The toys can talk. So instead of thinking of beginning your story in an ordinary world, I want you to begin your story in an extraordinary world, but give your main character an ordinary, or even better than that, give your main character a relatable problem. And that's what the term ordinary world really means. It means for the main character, at the beginning of the story, the world they live in feels ordinary to them. They have their life, they have their routine, they're set in their ways, but along comes a problem that's going to force them to leave the world they're used to and go on a journey. So if you look at Woody, Woody is used to being Andy's top toy, but along comes Buzz. And when Buzz arrives, Woody starts feeling all this jealousy. And that's the problem that Woody's gonna have to overcome. He's gonna have to learn how to share the stage and really to become Buzz's friend. If you look at Simba, Simba is used to being the royal son of the vast savannah. But his problem is that no one treats him seriously. No one seems to recognize that this kid is going to become king. Lastly, we have Anna and Elsa, and their relatable problem is that Elsa has magical powers that she can't control. Well, maybe that doesn't feel relatable yet, but it will get relatable. So Elsa accidentally hurts Anna, and then they're not allowed to play together. So the relatable problem is that Anna just wants to be with her sister, but they're separated. I'd like to note that what makes each one of these main characters so special isn't the fact that Woody's a talking toy, or that Simba is a lion that's going to become king, or that Anna is sisters with someone who can use ice like they're a wizard or something. That's not what makes these characters great. What makes them wonderful is the fact that they have a relatable problem, that Woody's dealing with jealousy, that Simba just wants to be taken seriously, and that Anna just wants to play with her sister and build a snowman. That concludes this week's video. If you enjoyed it, you can press like, and that will help people find it. If you want to be notified when the next one's coming out, you can press subscribe. Subscribe below. Next week, I think we're going to build off of this beginning here and talk about how you get into the actual journey part of the story. So more on that next time.